We all face times in our lives where things are ungoing our way, and we feel like we just go in to catch a break. Those moments when you just want to throw in the towel and give up because you feel like you're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to keep trying. Well, today I'm tell you the story of a guy who went through exactly that and how he turned it all around. So gather round and let me tell you the tale of a man who learned that the only thing that could change his life was a change in thinking. In the heart of a bustling city lived a young man named Arif. Arif was an ambitious and hardworking individual who always dreamed of a better life. However, it seemed as though fate had dealt him a cruel hand. No matter how much effort he put into it, he just couldn't seem to catch a break. Everything he attempted to do ended up in failure. Job applications turned into rejections. Business ventures ended up in losses, and opportunities seemed to slip through his fingers like grains of sand. Frustrated and disheartened, Arif found himself stuck in a cycle of negativity. He began to believe that he was just destined to live a life of mediocrity. "I'm not cut out for this," he would often say to himself, feeling like a complete failure. He started to avoid people, shying away from their pitying glances and sympathetic words. All he wanted to do was curl up in his small, dark room and escape the harsh realities of his life. One evening, as Arif sat alone in his dark room, surrounded by rejection letters and failed projects, a sense of hopelessness washed over him. It felt like the weight of his failures was crushing him, making it hard to breathe. He looked around the room and noticed the clock on the wall. Its ticking seemed to mock him, emphasizing the passage of time that he felt he was wasting away. Outside, the rain poured heavily, creating a melancholic atmosphere that mirrored the turmoil in his heart. The sound of raindrops hitting the window pane echoed the tears he felt threatening to spill. As the minutes ticked by, Arif's thoughts raced. Memories of his friends' taunts echoed in his ears. They had always been skeptical of his abilities, labeling him as a dreamer and questioning his ambitions. Their words, which once stung but were now a constant ache, played on repeat in his mind. "You're not talented enough," they had said. "Forget about your dreams. You'll never make it." Their doubts had become his own, shaping his reality and fueling his despair. The darkness in the room seemed to intensify, enveloping Arif like a suffocating blanket. It felt as if the walls were closing in on him, trapping him in a prison of his own making. In that dark abyss, he felt utterly alone, burdened by the heavy weight of his perceived inadequacies. The thought crossed his mind. Is this it? Is this all there is to life? A series of disappointments and unfulfilled dreams. As the rain continued to pour and the clock ticked relentlessly, Arif grappled with his emotions, unsure of what to do next. Should he continue to chase his dreams, knowing he might face more heartbreak, or should he give up and resign himself to a life of mediocrity? Trapped in that dark room, he searched for an answer, hoping for a glimmer of light to guide him out of the darkness. Little did he know that a change in thinking was all it would take to transform his life forever. That's when a soft knock on the door broke through his dark thoughts. Startled, Arif turned his head toward the sound, his eyes searching for the source of the interruption. Through the dim light filtering in from outside, he could see a figure standing at his door. Relief washed over him as he realized it was one of his teachers from college. "I didn't hear you come in, sir," Arif said, his voice raspy from disuse. The teacher, known for his wisdom and kindness, entered the room without waiting for a response. His gaze was gentle, filled with a quiet understanding. He noticed the dejected young man slumped in the chair, surrounded by the debris of his unfulfilled dreams. After some time talking together, the teacher finally spoke, his voice carrying the weight of experience and insight. "Tell me, Arif, why do you seem so lost and defeated? What troubles your heart?" At first Arif hesitated. The shame of his failures and the fear of being judged held him back. But seeing the genuine concern in his teacher's eyes, he began to open up. He poured out his heart, sharing the story of his struggles, the disappointments he had faced, and the dreams he dared not chase anymore. As he spoke, the weight of his negative thoughts pressed down on him, each word a testament to the crushing defeat he had felt. His teacher listened patiently, offering no judgment, allowing Arif to express the torrent of emotions that had been bottled up inside him. When Arif fell silent, his teacher remained quiet for a moment, contemplating how to best guide the young man. Finally he spoke in a calm, soothing voice, his words echoing wisdom and understanding. "Arif, my boy, what you have described is indeed a heavy burden to bear. But it is important to remember that the greatest battles are not fought on the outside, but within the chambers of one's own mind. The world may seem like a battlefield, but the real war is the one you wage against your own negative thoughts and beliefs. For as long as these shadows hold sway over your mind, they will color your reality and hinder your progress. RF looked up, his eyes questioning, trying to grasp the meaning behind his teacher's words. The teacher continued, "Your mind is like a canvas, RF, and your thoughts are the paints that create the picture of your life. Right now, the canvas is filled with shades of defeat and hopelessness. But it is never too late to pick up a new paintbrush and start painting a different masterpiece. Change your thinking, and you will change your life." RF pondered his teacher's words. At first, it didn't make sense. He struggled to understand how just thinking differently could change his circumstances. But as he thought more about it, he realized the truth in his teacher's words. He realized that his negative thoughts had become his biggest enemy, holding him back and keeping him from achieving his dreams. He thanked his teacher for the advice and promised to try to change his thinking. As the teacher prepared to leave, he placed a hand on Arif's shoulder, offering words of encouragement and faith in the young man's ability to turn his life around. With newfound determination, Arif began his journey towards changing his thinking. He understood that it wouldn't be easy, but he was willing to give it his all. Every morning, he would stand in front of the mirror and repeat affirmations, telling himself, "I am capable, I am strong, I will succeed." It felt strange at first, but slowly it began to sink in. He started to see possibilities where others saw obstacles and believed in himself even when no one else did. The road to success was not without its bumps. Arif still faced challenges and setbacks, but now he tackled them with a different mindset. Instead of seeing failures, he saw learning opportunities. Instead of dwelling on his weaknesses, he focused on his strengths. And instead of complaining about his circumstances, he took action to change them. As the months went by, Arif's life began to transform. He started to attract positive people who believed in him and supported his dreams. Opportunities came his way, and he seized them with the mindset of a winner. One day, as Arif stood in front of the mirror, he looked at his reflection with pride. He no longer saw a defeated young man, but a confident, capable individual who was ready to take on the world. Knew that his journey was far from over, but he was excited for what the future held. And so, my friends, remember that you have the power to change your thinking and ultimately your life. Don't let negative thoughts hold you back. Instead, embrace the power of positive thinking and watch as your life transforms before your very eyes. Believe in yourself, have faith in your abilities, and never give up on your dreams. For as long as you keep moving forward, no obstacle can stop you from achieving greatness. Thank you for listening.